Hi, this is IK. Welcome to book React Redux Add Post Form. The Add Post Form is for new post edition with HTML form and essential JavaScript for interaction. More details will come during interaction. For now, it's just the initial rendering, resulting in an empty web page form. Behind it, JavaScript states and events are prepared for user interaction. This includes the structured assignment, state declarations, hooks, on-change, on-click events, and Redux integration, all needed for data transfer to the mock server and back to Redux. The entire data flow, from typing in the form to displaying it in the browser, is a lengthy process with plenty of JavaScript work. Enjoy the empty form for now, and let's wait for the interaction. PostList.js is the next step, our first encounter with the data and essential knowledge for coding. Before that, we need to introduce Redux. Redux is the JavaScript library that offers state management, and it is commonly used with React application, among other JavaScript libraries. React applications manage states across their components. States are data, variable. The fundamental rule is that data can flow from parent component to child. The state of the parent becomes the props of child. In complex React applications, numerous components hold various states, make it challenging to maintain control. To address this complexity, Redux is often employed to manage states. How Redux manage states? Redux provides tools for creating object, store, and for handling all other necessary tasks. States are stored in the object store. Because the store is at a higher level than any of the components, states can be accessed by any component in a React application. This is a good moment to display the store in our React Redux application Tank1. Here is the import configure store from Redux.js toolkit. Import post reducer from features post slice. Export constant store equal configure store and parameter is reducer. Reducer, there is object reducer, there is a post member post, properties post, and value is post reducer. In the React Redux application 4.5.4, the store is as follows. Import, here it is, only difference is here. Reducer, look at. Reducer is object. Now there is properties post, users, comments, replies one, etc. Every of that there is a post slice, user slice, replies slice, comment slice, replies one slice. And let's continue explaining the store in our application Tank1. When I first saw this script, I was totally confused. It was nothing like what I knew before. It was my first encounter with the declarative programming. This code is a declaration. Write it like this, then learn what it means. We decide only about the name of the state. Here, there is only one state and name it post. The plural of post, because it is an array of post. In the store of application 454, there are 5 states. We copy the declaration of the store with one state and code 5 names of the state in it. Simple, isn't it? Less coding. But syntax is known to me, and my explanation of it is as follows. After import, we declare the object store using export constant store and assign to it the function configure store with this unnamed object as parameter. A reducer here is in curly brackets is object. That object there is no name. We see only curly brackets, and that unnamed object, this object has one property named reducer. The reducer is an object with one property named post, and its value is post reducer. I use the term object for all properties here: object store, object reducer, object post, and in the end we have the value post reducer. Take care, besides the declarative paradigm, the functional paradigm, programming paradigm also governs here. 2 new paradigms for me. Who would not be confused? You will not be, because I'm telling you in time before you get confused. Don't be confused that an object is equivalent to function, and the function is equivalent to an object. It is the foundation of functional programming. When I refer to something as an object, don't be surprised if you later discover it is a function. And yes, it is. Don't be surprised if you see a function as a parameter of another function. Keep in mind that here we only see the parameter of the function configure store. A parameter is the input value of function, but what will be the output of this function? The authors of the function, the team of Meta, instruct us to continue to use our declaration, and you will have the complete architecture of the Redux. Now, let's get started with post reducer. It is imported from the file post slice, which is the next big example of declarative coding. Afterward, we will have the entire landscape of Redux and its role as a state manager. The first shock will be, where is the term post reducer? There is no post reducer in the file postslice.js, even though it was imported from postslice. If it's like that, I can write anything in the store. For example, X instead of post reducer. Import configure store from Redux.js toolkit, import X from post slice. And here it is again X. npm start, it works. Conclusion, declarative programming say to us, I know what PostSlice does for you, and it does not depend on how you named something. However, good programming practice teach us to give descriptive names, so there is no need to later think about its role. Write back post reducer instead of X. Okay, let's get started with the post reducer. It is imported from file post slice. Here is post slice. Pay attention to the names inside and outside of the curly brackets. Here is configure store is in curly brackets. Create slice and create asynchron tank is in curly brackets. It coming from Redux.js toolkit. Import Axios from Axios. Import post reducer. There is no post reducer is now in curly brackets from post slice. The configure store, create slice, create asynchron tank. Add the actual names of functions imported from the Redux.js toolkit module. Axios and post reducer are names that we decided on. It can be written as import X from Axios, import Y from post slice. Don't forget to write its names in all places where they are needed in the file. So every time we see a name inside the curly brackets, either alone or in the company of other names, we know that it is the real name of some existing entity. The configure store, as the name suggests, is a function that creates a store. This function comes from the module Redux.js/toolkit, which is the latest version of the module. The Redux.js/toolkit provides us with many functions that write code in the background for us. They make programming akin to filling out a form in some institution that declares the forms. Declarative programming. This function declare what they code, leaving us with a minimal coding. This is why it is called declarative programming. Initially, it may be confusing, as we are not clerks in bureaucracy filling out official forms. However, with practice, we come to understand and appreciate this paradigm. We observe how it works in the file store.js, and now we will explore how it is implemented in the file postslice.js. This is all the theory you needed to avoid confusion. Now we can continue with the explanation of postslice.js. In the end, we will have a clear understanding of the configured architecture of Redux for any of your React Redux applications. the story about curly braces is not finished. Look at the end of post-sliced.js. Export default post-slice.reducer. Export constant select alls post equal state, etc. Export constant select post by ID equal, etc. State dot post to find, etc. In a JavaScript or TypeScript module, there can only be one default export in one file. The export default syntax is used to specify the main or default export for the module, but only usefulness of default is that we not need type curly braces. If I change it in export post reducer equal post slice reducer, I have to code named export. This grammar not help me here. Named export. I check grammar in chat GPT. Named export like this. Import post reducer. Look at now I post reducer is in curly brackets because here is export without default but export name. But when I have default, I have only this without name. Now is I name. I give name here and it is named export, and I must put it in curly brackets like here. Okay, I wrote book until here. And, in the next video, I will continue with book. Thank you for watching this video.